everyone. So I'm going to follow on from Jerry's talk today, who has talked to you about dual-track Agile and the benefits that it can deliver for both businesses and teams. But I'm going to talk to you about my experience of dual-track Agile and how me and my team were facing some challenges, and how dual-track Agile came to our rescue a little bit. And I'm going to talk to you about how we implemented it, but then also some of the challenges that we faced along the way and how we overcame those challenges. So I'm hoping to convince you today that dual-track Agile, if you manage to synchronize the two tracks, you can really create some magic and create some excellent products along the way. So I'm going to start with some quotes. I cannot plan my research or design work into sprints. I simply don't know if it will fit into two weeks. I don't know if I'll book in participants in time. I don't know what will come out of the research. Can't do it. We are meant to use Agile, but it wasn't designed with UX involved. Traditional Agile wasn't designed with UX. So how do I do it? How do I fit my bits in? Is that I'll do it like the developers do. And good validated design takes time. So how can we do that and still meet some really tight timescales? So these were some quotes from me and my team when we were about to embark on a new project. And I'm going to tell you a bit about what was happening at the time, the challenges that we're facing, and the things that we did to overcome those challenges. Sneak peek, it was dual-track Agile. But first, I will introduce myself. Hello everyone, my name is Lucille. Group, and we are a digital data and technology consultancy. We partner with public sector organisations such as the Department for Transport, Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, and the Met Office. And we help them design and deliver products and services that really have an impact on UK society. So most of our work is within the gov.uk framework and aligns with their service standards and their design system. So the work that we do involves pulling together multidisciplinary teams really quite quickly to deliver something at pace. So, for example, our clients such as the Department for Transport, Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, they may be putting together a new policy or a new piece of legislation. As they are working out the detail of that policy, they realise that they need a digital system to actually administrate that. And that's the sort of thing that we get involved with and we help them out with. But this sort of work does have particular challenges. So we have to pull new teams together. So based on who's available, who has the right expertise and who has the right knowledge. So these teams, sometimes we've never met each other before, sometimes we may have worked together before, but it could have been quite a while ago. So at the very start, we've got this challenge of a completely new team. We also have some very tight, immovable deadlines. If a government department has a policy that they're designing, it's got a go live date. That's often written into legislation. That's a very immovable deadline that we have to work with. So there's quite a few challenges that come along with this sort of project. And the project that we're working on, where I was experiencing those challenges, was exactly that. So we were commissioned by Department for Energy Security and Net Zero to design and deliver a digital system to support this piece of legislation, the Clean Heat Market Mechanism. So this policy is designed to fit in with the net zero ambitions. And what it does is it puts a target on fossil fuel boiler manufacturers, and it sets them a target to sell and install a certain amount of eco-friendly heat pumps, so to increase the amount of eco-friendly heating that there is across the UK. And a digital system is needed for this policy. So it's needed for manufacturers to report their numbers in, as well as track their targets and their progress towards the administration organisation to review their reports, to approve, to ensure compliance and to do any enforcement action that they may do. We had a matter of months to get this design and delivery done, and we had to do it in the best way possible. So as this was under the gov.uk framework, we had to work using an Agile method, and it was in deciding what method that we wanted to use, we were facing these challenges. So traditional Agile for this sort of project, because it just doesn't account for UX in this work. And we really needed something that worked well for the entire team, not just the development and the tests, but worked well for the research and the design as well. We needed something that treated us as a whole team. We were also going into a really quite complicated domain. I'm not sure if anyone's ever read legislation or policy documents, but they are quite something and quite complicated. So there was quite a lot to get through. There was also a huge amount of uncertainty as well. So there was a huge amount of unknowns that we were battling with. And with these sorts of projects, requirements change quite a lot. They can change mid-design, they can change mid-sprint, they can change last minute. So there's no getting away from that, and there's no point sort of trying to resist it. So we needed a method that worked with all of those things. And ultimately, we needed to find a method that took the design and development work, really made sure that it was aligned, and in a way that could propel us forward to deliver something in the timelines that we had set out. So, on this project, I was working with one of our delivery managers, and we were discussing these concerns. We were discussing all of the problems and all the challenges that we were facing, and we didn't know what we were going to do about it, what was going to be the right method. And we wanted to make sure that we did actually pick the right method, not just use any old method just because we couldn't find the right one. So what we decided to do, we decided to go away and each individually research and Google and read lots of articles, and then come back together and work out if we found something. And we did. I remember sending a Teams message to Dan, quite excited, sort of saying, I think I found something, are you free for a call? And then he also responded, I found something too, let's jump on a call. And when we spoke, we both found different articles on dual track Agile, and we were both quite excited because we found this method which seemingly solved all of our problems. So that's what we did. We chose dual track Agile, and that was the method that we used. So whereas traditional Agile has all of the work on one track, dual track Agile splits the work of the team, the entire team, so the UX, the UR, the technical side, so your developers, your technical architects, splits all of the work across 2 different tracks. And you have the whole team collectively working on both tracks, just to slightly different levels. Each of these tracks has aims, but you have both all of the team working across all of those aims. So at the top here, we've got the design and research track. Here, the aim is to understand the problem, do we understand the users, and also to work out what we're actually going to do about the problem. And the research and design track is made up of different size learning loops. And this is where we're doing our research, our design, our test, and iterate. But we're doing it to different sizes and different scales. So you can see some of the learning loops, they're small, some are big, some are distinct, but also some are concurrent. And what this means is that this research and design track, it gives us the flexibility and the adaptability that we need in the research and the design work, because it's not fit into sprints, and gives us that flexibility. Then on the delivery track, that's when the actual building is happening, and it's in the tried and tested sprint formula. The key thing with this method is it is one team working across those 2 tracks. So it's the entire delivery team, the UX, the UR, the developers, the technical architects working on the research and the design track, everyone contributing to the aims of that track. And then everyone also contributing to the aims of the delivery track, which aims to make sure that we're building the right thing and building it in a way that and delivers what we need for our clients and for our users. So I'm now going to have a look and see what it looks like from a day-to-day perspective, firstly starting with the perspective of a UX designer. So I'll be doing most of my work up on the research and the design track. I'll be doing my usual research things, be doing my usual design work. But then sometimes I may need to come down onto the delivery track. Maybe something's happened in something that's being worked on. Maybe it doesn't translate so well into what we're developing. Maybe it's taking longer than it should. Maybe that something has happened which means we can't develop it in the way that we want to. I'll then come down into that track and be there to help answer questions, help feed into the problem solving. And it means that I can bring the user research into the delivery track and make sure that any decisions are being made as user-centered as possible. Then, going back up to the research and design track, I can bring the technical people, our developers, into this research and design process. So maybe I'm working on a feature or a journey, and I will run a session, a collaborative design session, where I'm actively getting their input and getting their involvement to feed into the design process. So now looking at what it looks like from a developer's perspective. So they will be doing most of their work down in the delivery track, working on their tickets, working on the development work. But sometimes they will come up to the research and design track. They will be observing research sessions. Maybe they'll be reading research summaries, so they can get a really good understanding of who the users are, how is the system that we're building actually performing. They will also be providing input into the designs as well, so either in sessions, as I've already described, or it could be reviewing wireframes or reviewing prototypes to provide their feedback on how well is it going to work and sort of is it actually possible. And then back on the delivery track, they'll be bringing designers and researchers into that process to help them make the right decisions and progress forward with that work. So this one team approach really works for us because we have everyone involved in every part of the work. And this gives us collective ownership over the entire product. It means that everyone is invested in all of the product. This helps us in a couple of different ways. It helps us with problem solving because we solve problems together, we solve problems in the open, and we are able to be more creative and more innovative when we are solving those problems. It also helps us with decision making because again we are making decisions all together. We are making decisions as a team across the research and design work and then across the development work as well, meaning that we can make much better decisions as a team. The one team approach, and this is because our user-centric design is grounded in reality. By having everyone technical involved in the design process, it means that from the very beginning, we are only designing things which we have confidence that we can deliver in the timescales that we have. What this means is that we can also de-risk the delivery of this product, because we have confidence from the very start that everything that we are designing, all of the ideas that we have, can actually be built in the time that we've got and deliver what we need to for our clients' timescales. And I'll give you an example of how that has really worked for us. So I was designing a particularly complex product for the Department for Transport, and this product required manufacturers to make applications into the Department for Transport, and they had to review them and approve them. Applications which came in every month, and the DFT wanted to automatically sample these applications. So they wanted to do a risk-based automatic sample based on various different criteria. And when I heard this, I was like, okay, this sounds very complicated. This sounds like there is a lot of work that needs to happen with this to actually get it to a point that we can build it. And I was preparing to have a conversation with our client to say, okay, this is quite big. We need this. Where does it fit in with the priority of everything else? But before I did that, I shared this with our technical team and one of our developers, and they were like, hang on, that doesn't actually sound too difficult. Because we built the system like this, you could definitely do it like this. And then suddenly I had something to work with. I had something that I could take, I could design, and I could get to a point that we could actually build it. So because I shared that insight and that need early, I brought them into the design process. It meant that we could actually deliver this feature for the client, which we wouldn't have been able to otherwise. We would have completely deprioritized. Another benefit of this is when it actually came time for the design to feed into the sprint work, we reduced the amount of time that it took to actually get it into the sprint, because we didn't need to communicate the design to the developers so that they understood it enough to actually estimate it and be able to work on it. Because it was their design from the beginning. So it speeds up the process of actually getting the work from one track, from the research and design track, into the delivery track. I wanted to add something a little bit spooky to this talk, given that it is Halloween tomorrow. So when we were implementing dual track Agile, there was something which I did want to share, which I do want you to all be aware of if you do this yourself. And that is the mindset problem. So dual track Agile only works if everyone has the right mindset, if everyone is bought into the process. That's when you see the benefits. It doesn't work if you've only got part of the team really embracing dual track Agile, but then part of the team only glued to one track. And this can happen. So some people can say, you know what, I don't want to get involved in the design work. You go and design it and then feed it back to me when you're done. Or I don't want to get involved in the delivery work. Go away and build it and show me when you're done. And that's a problem, because we just don't see the benefits of the speed and the better designs and de-risking the delivery that you really get with dual track. So, to battle the mindset problem, we need to treat it how we treat any other problem, which is first understand the problem. What is going on? Why is the team not getting into the right mindset? Is it that they don't like context switching, in which case, manage that? Is it that they don't see the benefits of working in a dual track way? Show them the benefits and sort of see and make sure that they can see it. Or is it that they don't feel that they can contribute to either the design or the delivery track? Again, show them how they can contribute. Understanding the problem will be key to solving it. And use your retros. As part of any Agile process, your retros are absolutely key to iterating and improving as a team. They are a safe space to raise ideas, raise concerns, and discuss how you're going to improve together as a team. So I wanted to finish today with some insights and some learnings from our journey implementing dual track Agile. The first one, find a method that really works, because we work in the real world. There's no point just using a method for the sake of it, or it's because everyone else is doing it or you've been told to do it. You need to find a method that really works for you and your team and your context. Every company is different, every project is different, so finding a method that really works and adapting it is is key. Then you never get it right first time, and that's not a bad thing. As designers, iteration is our bread and butter. We know how important iteration is, and the same thing applies to our processes as well. It's never going to be right first time when you implement it, but it's all about working out how can you improve it, how can you make it better. And a good enough mindset, because you need to not perfection. Going for perfection will get in the way of actually getting where you need to go. You need to focus on what is good enough to get you down the road, to meet that time scales, to meet those deadlines. Focus on excellence and not perfection. On that note, thank you very much for listening.